And how long should you wait before you put the next coil on top?
Right, now that is dependent on kind of what stage of the pot you're at. Like I was saying earlier, with the base, I made the base out of a whole pinched piece of clay. And that is quite a strong form, but I'd still let it dry off a bit before I started adding coils. Maybe 3 to 4 coils maximum before you need to let them harden off again before you carry on. Because all the time, you see, as you're adding the coil, the part where you're adding it, it becomes thinner. So the coil you're adding to the pot itself, you're blending the clay and that becomes thinner. It's not as thick as this anymore. So of course that's weaker, that's wet clay. So if you put something on top of that, it's going to compress. Right. You can see the way, yeah. But that's how we manipulate it. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to kind of flare out with this. And as I flare out, the clay will be thinner. And therefore it'll be lighter. So I want to get to a point where I have enough clay for the ground finish, if you like. I'm hunching. Don't let me hunch.
You're not hunching.
All right, so yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Do you have any tips to make the clay nice and smooth? Is it all through massaging?
Yes, you need to get to a point where you're happy that you've kind of completely blended. So let's just work around this and get those coils blended in properly. So just a little squeeze, a little stroke. That's what you need. Just gentle manipulation. Somebody's bath. Somebody's taken the plug out. Right, here we go. Okay, so it's still pretty rough, but this is where we bring in the metal kidney once again. Now I think we've spoken about this very thin piece of steel. Yeah, very thin piece of steel, and this is what we use to scrape back the clay. Oh. So if you're going on an inverse curve, you need to use obviously the curve, and then if you're doing an outward curve, we'll use this. But obviously if you bend it, it curves to the curve. So, and that will just scrape off the excess and give you a nice smooth finish. But when you've done that, you see my base now, you'll see that is a lot harder than this. This is still wet clay here now, we can still work on that. But the base is really, this is what we call leather hard. Okay, so it's pretty self-explanatory. It's like thick leather. Now this we can manipulate with the back of a spoon, and we can get a lovely glossy finish to it. What you'll notice as well when I'm doing this is you can actually see now the coil. Can you see that? You can sort of guess where the coil was put on. But can you see how that is flattening, compressing the clay, so we get a nice glossy surface. Now this you will do all over the pot, kind of when it's finished, when it's been drying off for a bit and we've got the finished thing. And if we look at what I made earlier, the tusk, you can see how glossy that is. That's not glazed, that's just burnished and then it's smoke fired. Okay? So that just gives it a natural finish. And then after that was fired, that's been fired once, then it's been put in a sawdust fire to smoke fire it, leaving the blackened ash that goes into the body of the clay, and then it's polished after just with a bit of wax. Now then, what wax did I use? I can't remember. Anyway, I'll get back to you on that. But that gives it a nice natural finish. I'm not sure about the finish I'm going to apply to these new pots, but something will occur, and I will evolve something. But as you can see, they're burnished in the dry state, so we get this nice. Well, actually, that one's kind of more burnished. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see.
And that one, so you get that. So they're almost glossy before they're fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey Sarah, how's it going?
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, it's going well. I've added another coil, and as you can see now, I was talking about flaring out. So to do that, let's just put the music off so I can explain. I'm just going to put the coil slightly to the edge of the edge and manipulate it from the inside first, so that we get the top of the pot starting to flare out. Okay. And as you can see, I've done quite a bit of scraping back, so we've got a smoother sort of surface on the pot now. There we go. So just press it. So we've got quite a lot of clay there. And I'm just going to add this coil quite roughly and keep that top edge quite thick, because I will want to put some more clay on. But you can see how we're starting to flare out. Yeah, your head's right in the light there, Helen, so yeah. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, just got a bit more light on it. So yeah, same as before, just some gentle manipulation, but you can see we've kind of radically, just with one coil, changed the direction of the pot. Well, with two coils. So we've come in, and I went, but there's a lot of clay here, so this will, and I will put one more on, and then we'll be able to flare out quite a lot. Okay.
Very nice.